K-Talk 1650 is going to the dogs.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
It's time for the National K-9 Academy, so perk up your ears and start wagging your tails for the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
And welcome to the Memorial Day weekend special of National K-9 Academy Radio here on K-Talk 1650, the nation's only weekly hour-long live broadcast that is all about the dogs. I am your host, Dan Stallings, along with my lovely co-host, Dallas Bolin, who's breaking everything in the studio this morning. Is your mic working now?
Yeah, just getting off to a bad start today.
Dallas was trying to make some modifications to the studio, and Devontae was luckily here to save the day. How you doing, Devontae?
All right, how you doing?
Doing all right. Enjoying the weekend. And we're going to make sure the dogs enjoy the weekend and the rest of the spring/summer weather that we're going to have, because we're going to talk about getting the dogs in the water. It's something that we at the Academy have done for the last 8 years. We've had pools at our facility. We have saltwater pools now because it is better for the dogs, their coat, their skin, and a lot less chemicals, and it's a lot easier to maintain. And every year, I don't know, we have, a dozen or so dogs that we get in the water for the first time.
Yeah.
And, it's a funny thing that I always comment about is how some owners get upset and frustrated with us if we didn't get their dog in the pool that day.
Yeah.
And I just think, we have 60 to 80 big dogs. We have 20 to 30 small dogs every day.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get them all in the pool. And number one, they don't all want to get in. There's always, 8 or 10 that they jump in as soon as we open the pool up. Mm-hmm. They're in the water before we can even get in the pool. But there's always some that are hesitant. And there's some that just no, they're going out in the field. They're running the other way. They want no part of it, right? So, but we do make an effort to try to get all the dogs in the pool. And it's done in a manner that we try to help the dogs get comfortable. That's what we wanted to talk about today, because I think a lot of people struggle with that, believe it or not. And we've had owners come to us with even water dogs, Labradors, that were afraid of the water. They were embarrassed. They'd go to the beach and the dog's running away from the ocean. Want no part of it. And we have, one in particular, our celebrity Franklin, who actually won a dock dog event. After we were done working with him, the very first event, he actually beat some of our dogs. So it's all in how you introduce them to the water, but there is a safe way to do it. And every year, on the flip side, we have friends at the emergency vets that tell us about a dozen or so dogs that come in with heat stroke or heat exhaustion, because people don't realize that just because they're in the pool doesn't mean that they're cooling off. It's a strenuous activity for the dogs. And there's some other factors that we'll talk about a little bit later. But the main thing that we wanted to talk about is how to safely get your dog in the water so that they enjoy it and they'll want to get back in again. That's the big thing. I think everybody wants to see their dog enjoy it and have fun, and that's something that I think we've kind of mastered over the years. As again, we've gotten dozens and dozens of dogs in the water for their first time, not just in a pool, but in the water. And there's a lot of things that go into it. Well, the first is we always get in the pool with them. We were talking before the show, Devontae, one of the things that we never do is throw the dog in. We never just throw a dog in the water, whether it's a pond, the ocean, the pool. If you do that, you can actually upset them and basically shock their system, and they won't want to come near it again. Just one event, especially if it's a young dog. One of the things we recommend for puppies, just like I did with mine, is start them off in a little wading pool and let them walk around. That's what we had for the small dogs initially, and just see if they're interested. Some of them will just go over and sit in it all day, and then some of them will run through it, and some of them will drink out of it. It's like a big water bowl. And but it's all in getting them comfortable with it, and the earlier you start, the better. I've actually seen a boxer dock diving, I've seen one, and mine aren't interested. They'll get in there, they're strong swimmers, but they're just not interested in diving in. But I talked to those people, and they had them in since they were 4 weeks old, so they were comfortable in the water, they enjoyed it. And not all dogs are going to enjoy it, but the key is to get in there with them, make sure they're confident, they're safe, obviously, and then they're having fun. If they're not having fun, and not all dogs are going to like the water, no matter what you do. So you have to kind of accept that. Just because you have a Labrador doesn't mean they're going to love the water. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, there's some characteristics there where they should be prone to getting in the water, but they have the web feet. But it also depends. It could be an environmental thing. For example, when we go to dock diving events, some of them are in pools, some of them are in ponds where they built a deck. There are some dogs that will not jump off of a dock into a pool because it's clear, they can see the bottom.
Right.
It already starts off 2 feet above the water, and you figure the pool is 4 to 5 feet deep, so they're 6 or 7 feet above the bottom of the pool, which they can see. They don't want to jump that far. And there's some dogs that will fly off the dock at a pond into murky water. So it all depends on the environment as well. The other thing is obviously this time of year is when everybody's trying to get the dogs in. If it's cold, for example, and the dog Jenny, if she hits that water and it's cold, she's done. We went to an event in Maine in June, and the high, I wasn't ready for this. In June, the high was 55 degrees. The high. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, this is summer. It's supposed to be like 80. No, 55 degrees was the high, and I drove 15 hours to get there, right? Oh, my gosh. She hit the water one time. She ran up the ramp, ran down the stairs, ran right back over to our area where we had the canopy set up, and jumped up in the chair and sat there and looked at me. Everybody, there were 80-some competitors. They were all laughing. She looked at me and started licking herself like, yeah, we were done. So, if it's not fun for them, then they're not going to want to do it. Now, I didn't know it was going to be that cold up there, but, that's one of the reasons we always wait till it gets a little warmer before we open up the pools again so that the dogs will enjoy it. Just like us, if they get cold, they're not having fun, they're not going to want to do it. So, and it is a great exercise for dogs of all ages, whether they're puppies, whether they're adults, seniors, with arthritis, etc. It's good for the puppies because it's not strenuous on their joints. But again, we always get in with them. We make sure they have fun. And there's a certain sequence that we do with the new dogs that we follow to make sure that they're comfortable. And we'll talk a little more about that specific sequence in the next segment. But, when you take the dogs to the ocean, a lot of them won't get in the first time they're in the water because of the wave. They don't like the wave action. It splashes them. It splashes up on their chest. Maybe even the taste, because even though we have saltwater pools, it's not like the salt in the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a third that much salt, so it doesn't taste like salt water.
Right.
But the waves can sometimes startle them. Sometimes the smaller dogs, it can even knock them over, so that can make them very uncomfortable. The footing can be a little unsure if it's being sandy and soft. Yeah. So there's some things there that it can happen. Sometimes if you live on a lake, like my folks have a place on the lake in North Carolina, or if you go to the Narrows at First Landing, used to be called Seashore State Park, the Narrows where the boat ramp is, there's a big drop-off. Not even 10 feet out, when you walk out from the beach, there's a huge drop-off. So that can be kind of startling to the dog. They're walking, all of a sudden, boop, they're in over their head. Right. With ponds and whatnot, there can be critters in there. We do this with the geese control. There can be, turtles. Obviously, there's fish. Something touched me, So those are some of the things. And then, obviously, like we said, with the pool, they can see the bottom. And sometimes that can be a deterrent because to them it feels like they're 5 or 6 feet up in the air. So these are things that we take into consideration. Obviously, the breed. One thing I will say here real quick before you take a break, all dogs can swim. We even have 3-legged dogs that can swim. People think dachshunds, bulldogs, dogs like that, small dogs, Yorkies cannot swim. They can all swim. We even have footage and pictures of them on our Facebook page of them swimming. We even have underwater footage of the bulldogs swimming. Now, they work a little harder than some of the other dogs, but they can swim. So all dogs can swim. It's just some are better than others. And we just try to get them more comfortable in the water so they're all strong swimmers. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next segment and how we get them in safely and comfortably. We'll be right back after this break. You're listening to National K-9 Academy Radio on K-Talk 1650.
Buddy, stop pulling me. What have you got in your mouth? Give me that. Buddy, come here. Buddy! No jumping. I'm sorry, are you okay? Buddy, no, I just took you out.
Does this sound like a typical day with your dog? At National K-9 Academy, we can help. We offer all breed obedience training and behavior modification. Our facility boasts 26,000 square feet fenced grass play area, a 4,500 square foot indoor with separate daycare play groups for large and small dogs, 2 saltwater pools, dock diving facilities, and state-of-the-art training equipment with multiple trainers. We offer the area's only lifetime money-back guarantee. Altogether, this could lead to more days like this with your dog.
Good boy, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
National K-9 Academy, located at 5503 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Call us at 757-289-2700 and find us on the web at nationalk9academy.com. Maverick Detection Services is the only company of its kind anywhere. We rescue, rehabilitate, and train homeless wine runners to perform as bedbug detection dogs and Canada Geese Control K-9s. We are now the nation's largest independent bedbug detection company with 17 certified teams and the region's only geese control company. Our K-9s have been featured multiple times in local news, TV, and business journals, and even on ABC World News Tonight. Check us out on Facebook at Maverick Detection Services or online at todetectandtoserve.com and you'll see why. Call us at 855-597-7827. Maverick Detection Services, right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And now back with the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
And welcome back to National K-9 Academy Radio. We're talking today about getting your dog in the water, perhaps for the first time, and some of the steps that we go to and the lengths we go to get them comfortable and confident in the water. And I think one of the things, a couple things that might surprise people. The first thing is that we always get in the water with them. That's one of the first things we do. We get in the pool with them to make sure that they're confident, they're comfortable. And one of the very first things that we do is we try to make sure that they're swimming with a level top line. You've gotten in the water with them plenty of times. And it doesn't matter how big or small they are. The one thing that we want to see is that the dog is swimming with a level top line, not doing the doggy paddle. Because when they're doing the doggy paddle, what are they doing?
Swimming like vertical.
Yeah, and they're splashing water everywhere. They're getting water all over us and in our eyes, and we can't see. And they're doing the same thing to themselves. And in a lot of cases, they're actually panicking a little bit. So when they get the water in their nose and their eyes, it'll make them panic even more because then they can't see, or they breathe in a little bit of water and makes them panic even more. So we kind of hold their rear end up. If they have a tail, we hold their tail up. Some dogs don't, like the bulldogs or the boxers, or the Weims. You may not have much of a handle, and we kind of hold their rear end up so they swim with a level top line, so all four paws are in the water because it's a much more efficient stroke. They can swim faster and stronger, but the main thing is they're not splashing themselves in the face with water. Right. Yeah. The second thing that we always do with them is we show them where the ramp is so they can get out whenever they want. We always make sure, and we do it several times. We do a repetition. Dogs learn through repetition. So we show them that thing over there with the black mat on it, because we have a ramp that has a rubber mat, so they have good traction even when it's wet. And it's a gentle slope so they can climb right out of the pool. No matter what size they are, it goes all the way to the bottom of the pool. And we make sure they know this is how to get out. And we do that with them a few times, and then usually after 2 or 3 tries, they go right to that ramp. They know how to get out. And a lot of times there's always some dog standing there. There's a little standing room only. One of the other things that we do, no matter what size the dog, is if it's their first time in the water, we always get all the other dogs out of the water. We always have somebody on the outside of the pool standing there at the ramp just to govern how many dogs are going to get in the pool at once. So if it's a new dog, we don't want other dogs coming over and splashing them, showing off. But also, you don't want them messing with them so that they can take time to swim, and we can get time with them in the water one-on-one. If there's other dogs all around, they're swimming all over the place, they may swim up to them. They're going to get one of the balls floating in the water, and that can cause them to panic a little bit too. So that's one of the things that we do as well, is we make sure they're the only dog in the water. The only time we may introduce a second dog at the same time if it's a sibling, and they're a little more comfortable being in the water together. There's a couple other things that I think are unique that we do. We have the puppy guppy, which is our inflatable boat. And that is actually quite popular with the small dogs. We have a picture we have like 5 Yorkies in it. Yeah. And the funny thing is they're all standing up on the edge of it with their front paws looking out, and they're like each looking in a different direction. It's the funniest thing. But sometimes we'll introduce them to the water that way, just to get them out there and get them used to the feel of being on the water. We also have a boogie board or 2 that we'll put them on, and we take pictures of that. Some of them love that boogie board. And we've actually got video of, Apollo. Remember we tied a little ball to the cord on the bungee board, and he went in to retrieve the ball, and we had one of the dogs on the boogie board, and he was pulling the dog all over the place. And it was one of the dachshunds. And then when they got close to the ramp, the dachshund jumped out. And it was kind of funny, but some of the dogs love those things. And we'll push the boat over to the ramp, and some of the dogs will pile right in the boat. So again, it's about making it fun for them. And one of the other things that might surprise people is that we never use life vests. I've seen others use them. We don't. I want the dog to learn to swim with their own ability. Again, it's about building confidence. But it goes past that. And this is where I think some people get into trouble. And this is where we've learned from the emergency vets with just because the dog is in the pool doesn't mean that they're cooling down if it's a hot day. As a matter of fact, even our pools are 4.5 feet deep. On those middle of the summer days where it's 95 degrees out, they're outside, they're in the sun, that water gets warm. And we don't even like being in there. So that's why on days like that, we actually get the dogs in early, at 9 or 10 in the morning where it's cool versus later, because it is strenuous activity. I don't care how fit your dog is, what breed it is. It's a strenuous activity for your dogs to swim. It is very good for them. Cardiovascular, orthopedic and joint-wise is very good for them, but it is a strenuous activity. So the last thing I want is a dog in hot water really straining themselves, regardless of their age, their breed, their conditioning. So we don't use vests because vests hold that heat in. It doesn't allow the body heat to escape like it would otherwise. And it can actually make them hotter and cause that. The time I do see life vests being useful are if you're going out on a boat and you're worried about your dog going overboard or something and not being able to find them, and it has happened. Or if you're on a big lake or something and the dog continues, you were just telling me, when you can't find your dog, where are they? They're in the water.
Yeah, the water.
So if you're worried about something like that, but we're in a pool, we're in there with them, so life vests aren't necessary. And some of these life vests aren't even worth it. They aren't. I don't even know if you were. This was like 5 or 6 years ago, before you were around with us. We got Tony in the water for the first time, one of the English bulldogs. Tony is a very strong swimmer, and we didn't know that. It was the first time he's ever been in the water, and his owners brought life vests for he and his sibling, Boo. And Tony stepped off the ramp and went straight to the bottom of the pool. I mean, that's why we went down there and picked him and brought him back up. He's wearing a life vest. And it was because, bulldogs are like little bowling balls.
Right.
So they're a dense mass all right there packed in a little package, right? That's 60, 70 pounds in the size of a bowling ball.
Right.
And the life vest just did not provide enough buoyancy. And I actually felt like it encumbered his normal motion. And I think that may have caused him to panic a little more. So we took it off, and that's the last time we ever put a life vest on a dog. He swam great. He loves the pool. Tony swims all over the place. No problem at all. Much better than his sister. She wasn't quite as adept to it. But again, it's one of the things that we don't use are life vests. We want the dog to swim on their own ability. So that's basically the formula that we follow is, first off, we're always in the pool with them. We never throw them in. We always help them in gently. We either, if it's a small dog, we may set them over the edge of the pool in the water and then hold them while they work and swim, and then we help swim with a level top line. We show them where the ramp is to get in and out whenever they want, and then we make sure there's no other dogs in there other than maybe their sibling if it's their first time, and usually not even their sibling. They may be beside the pool or up on the ramp. And we've gotten dogs from all ages. We've had 10 weeks all the way up to 11 years swimming our pools. And we have one that set a Dock Dog World Record, Alvin. We have a couple that have earned invitations to the Dock Dog World Championships. That's the pool in our front yard for dock diving. But it all starts by building these good fundamentals, them being strong swimmers, knowing how to get out, not panicking. There's video of me training Alvin where he didn't want to get in the pool. He did not want. I was in the water, and I had to actually coax him to get in. And now I go up on the dock with a ball or doy. He just goes crazy. So it's truly one of those things where they love it. They just don't know it yet. But it's helping them get in and get comfortable with it. And then you watch what happens. Lucy the Great Dane, we got her in, 2 years ago? She almost killed all of us. Trying to get a Great Dane, 140-pound Great Dane in the pool. There's like 3 big guys in there. We're in the pool with her. She almost killed all of us. Not biting her, they just pawing to get out. Last year, she swam like a champ. didn't make a splash at all. I mean, just the difference in one year to the next. It's really cool to see that. And then, you have Merrick, the K-9, dogs that are not known to be water dogs whatsoever. That dog, he's the first little dog in whenever we open the pool up. Splash. And we've got pictures of him midair. We've got pictures of him in the pool, and he's like the one, he just keeps coming back and jumping in all on his own, so, and they put the picture up on the K-9 Club of America site, and everybody was asking him, how he got him to do that. He did it on his own. We just got him in the pool the first few times, and then all of a sudden his buddies are in the pool. Now he's interested, and that happens a lot. People tell us the dogs don't like water, and they've tried to get him in at home, and they've done these and that, this and that. Well, sometimes when there's our other dogs in the pool, they're interested all on their own, and we'll look over, and here comes so-and-so creeping down the ramp to get in. A lot of them will go there and just stand there, with their legs in, and then eventually you'll hear splash. Yeah. And that's how Merrick started. Now he's crazy. He's just in and out all on his own. So we're just in there to kind of keep an eye on him. But we do try to take pictures of all the dogs, and we do put them on Facebook, so we'll start doing that quite a bit. But there are some other uses that we actually have for the pool. We actually have used it for training and behavior work, believe it or not. We have dogs come in. We have the Jack Russells come in that were dog-on-dog aggressive. And number one, it's exercise. It's strenuous exercise, which always helps with behavior of any type. But we actually got them in the pool, and then we introduced other dogs in the pool that were strong swimmers. The last thing that Jack Russell was worried about was those other dogs. He was worried about his own survival. And where's the ramp? Let me get out. Yeah. And it actually helped us, get started down that road to him being more comfortable around other dogs. So it's not every case we do that, but in that case it certainly helped. And it is something that we evaluate on a case-by-case basis. And the pool's not available for us year-round because, like I said, we get in the pool with them. So in the cooler months, basically November until March or so, we don't even have the pool filled. But again, it's great exercise. It's healthy for them, and we try to make it fun. And that's the thing that we wanted to kind of share with you guys, is to pass that on. That you don't throw them in. Make sure they're comfortable. Safety thing huge. If you have a pool at home, make sure your dog knows how to get out. And they do make special ramps. We've had some, and they make some that have floating pontoons. Some have like a little ramp you can attach to the side of the pool that you can flip in the pool. When you want to pull it back out. If you don't, you can actually physically remove it. They also have them for boats, for the deck, the rear platform on the boats, so the dog can safely get in and out. Even the little John boats, like the duck hunters use, they have platforms so the dog can get in and out of the boat. But make sure your dog knows how to get in and out of the water, whether it's a pond. Sometimes they have steep embankments, so make sure your dog knows how to get out. So you don't ever have to worry about your dog getting in trouble, just like a small child getting in the pool. And then again, make it fun for them, make it enjoyable. It's a great exercise. You can enjoy it with your dog, playing fetch in the water like we do. Great photo opportunities there. And then, of course, ours extended on into the dock diving, in which, again, we have a world record-setting Weimaraner and the first two to ever earn invitations to the World Championships. So we're going to talk in the next segment about that, how that's actually carried over into our working dogs. So, just like with the toys, how it's, same toys we use to train the working dogs, the swimming in the pool, which led to the dock diving, which has led to some of our working dogs being able to do what they do so well. So there are a lot of uses for it. Generally, it's just a good, healthy, fun thing to do with your dog. And most dogs love it if they've been introduced correctly to it. So anyway, we hope you guys will take heed to some of this. We hope you have a great, enjoyable spring and summer with your dogs in the water. And believe me, we'll be posting plenty of pictures of both our daycare dogs and our working dogs in the pools that are at the Academy and out working around in the area. So we'll be back right after this break with more National K-9 Academy Radio on K-Talk 1650.
We'll be right back with the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
Maverick Detection Services is the only company of its kind anywhere. We rescue, rehabilitate, and train homeless Weimaraners to perform as bedbug detection dogs and Canada Geese Control K-9s. We are now the nation's largest independent bedbug detection company with 17 certified teams and the region's only geese control company. Our K-9s have been featured multiple times in local news, TV, and business journals, and even on ABC World News Tonight. Check us out on Facebook at Maverick Detection Services or online at todetectandtoserve.com, and you'll see why. Call us at 855-597-7827. Maverick Detection Services, right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Buddy, stop pulling me. What have you got in your mouth? Give me that. Buddy, come here. Buddy! No jumping. I'm sorry, are you okay? Buddy, no, I just took you out.
Does this sound like a typical day with your dog? At National K-9 Academy, we can help. We offer all breed obedience training and behavior modification. Our facility boasts 26,000 square feet fenced grass play area, a 4,500 square foot indoor with separate daycare play groups for large and small dogs, 2 saltwater pools, dock diving facilities, and state-of-the-art training equipment with multiple trainers. We offer the area's only lifetime money-back guarantee. Altogether, this could lead to more days like this with your dog.
Good boy, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
National K-9 Academy, located at 5503 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Call us at 757-289-2700 and find us on the web at nationalk9academy.com.
And now back with the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
And welcome back to National K-9 Academy. We are talking today about introducing your dog to the water and basically some safe habits and hopefully helping you and your dog enjoy being in and around the water a lot more, given that we are a resort town in this area, known for our beaches and lakes. And we just talked a little bit about how we do it at the Academy, introducing the dogs to the water for the first time and making sure that they're safe, and how that also carries over into some hobbies, some fun for the dogs. One of the things that we do, we have a dock diving team. We call it Weimare because most of them are Weimaraners. And it's something that we do in the pool and dock in our front yard. And obviously it all starts with getting the dogs in the water, getting them comfortable. And a lot of these guys we got from shelters, some owner surrenders. We had no idea of their history, in the water, whether they liked it or not. Weimaraners are kind of here and there. Some of them, love the water, some don't. About half of my guys really enjoy it, so we get in regularly. The other half, they don't so much, so I don't make them get in. But the dock diving is something that's fun for them. It's a fun sport. I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. 2009, so yeah, about 5 years. And I still crack up when I go up on the dock with them. And the way they just haul into the water without hesitation, it's just, to me, it still makes me laugh that they enjoy it that much, even though they've been doing it for that long. And I have to make them quit. I do. I have to make them stop because they will keep going and keep going. And none of our dogs have ever been injured doing it, but it's always a concern, especially since there are working dogs as well. But seeing them enjoy it so much, it just, like I said, it's kind of hard to watch your dog do something they enjoy without having fun yourself. And you've done it quite a bit with them in the front yard. Mm-hmm. And some of the dogs get you a little wetter than others when they get back on the dock. Some of the labs, they bring half the pool out of the pool with them when they shake and get everybody wet if you're in a 10-yard radius. And then some of the Weims, they come up and barely drip, but they come up on the dock and they shake, and you will get wet, and that's just part of it. Mm-hmm. But again, it's watching them have fun and do something that they enjoy and they're good at, and it just amazes me. I mean, some of them jump higher than you are tall. What are you, about 5 feet, 5'1"?
5'3".
Yeah, and Alvin and Jenny, when they jump, their heads are way up above yours. We take pictures and put it on there. And it's fun to do. You can compete with that. There are about 5 or 6 organizations that travel around the country with above-ground pools like we have, and they set them up with a regulation 40-foot dock that's actually a trailer, and they compete. They have dock dogs, ultimate air dogs, splash dogs, super retriever series. Purina has their event, Premier and all that, where they have that. I think it's in Indiana or something at their facility. So there are organizations all over the place that travel. We just do it for fun at our facility, and obviously we train dogs there. But again, it all starts with getting them comfortable in the water. Now, one thing that we don't do, and I've talked to quite a few people who even compete in dock dogs, even longer than I have, and I don't like to train dogs less than a year to do dock diving. Swimming is great exercise for them. But to me, them jumping hard repetitively off the dock, I'd like to wait for those hips and elbows to fully develop. So they are allowed to compete in most of the organizations as early as 6 months. To me, that's way too young to even have been training them, much less to expect them to do it over and over. Now, it is like a grass or AstroTurf covered dock, carpet covered, but I just don't like the act of them running and jumping repetitively like that. So I usually wait till they're a year old before we start doing that. And it has implications and is carried over into our working dogs, because Alvin and Jenny are two of my best geese control dogs as well. Both because of the drive they have and because of their comfort in and around the water. And there's tons of videos. If you go to Maverick Detection on YouTube, you'll see tons of videos of each of them in the water, as well as our Tennessee and our Ohio K-9s that work for us doing the geese control and bed bug detection. You'll see them just flying. There's one video, I couldn't even get within 40 yards of the water before Alvin was in there after him. It was full sprint, jump into the water. And all you saw was him running in this big splash. And he was having just as much fun doing that as he does dock diving or doing detection work. Alvin has fun doing anything. Alvin has fun sleeping. He's just anything. But just to see them so heartily go after something without reservation. And I even took a picture. I had a friend of mine take a picture, like a profile shot of him jumping off the embankment. And I used that. It could be one of those, those motivational posters they have. People doing things about how, and I was like, this is a great lesson we can learn from our dogs. And that's what I said. I said, if you're going to do anything, commit to it fully. Only then can you expect to succeed. And it's a picture of him mid-air launching himself off the embankment after the geese. And it shows he committed fully to doing that. And, we would all be a lot better if we had a lot more traits like our dogs, quite frankly. But it's one of those things where dock diving actually has helped me with them and the work that we do. So it's not just about just playing fun. Much like we talked about a few weeks ago, picking out toys and safe toys. We use toys to train our working dogs, our detection dogs. That's their reward when they find bed bugs. Just like this, when we dock dive with the dogs and we do practice at our facility daily when the pools are open, it's good work for them. And as I'm bringing other dogs online to help with the geese control, the dock diving and the swimming help strengthen some of their skills, because there are a lot of dogs that don't like to get in the water. Well, if the geese fly in the water and the dog won't chase them, you need to have an RC boat, or what are you going to do? You're going to jump in there yourself? Because you're not allowed to, kill them or hurt them. Or you don't want you throwing things at them. That's not exactly the image you want to portray if you're out there professional geese control and you're throwing things to the pond. People are going to think you're some crazy old man or something. But the dogs do the work for us, and if we feel like it's a safe environment, and we're okay with the dogs getting in swimming after the geese, they love it, and it's great work. There's a couple of videos. There's one of them I cut short. It was about 8 or 9 minutes long, where he just kept swimming around and around this pond, chasing all the geese in this huge pond. And I think I trimmed it down to like 3 or 4 minutes, because after a while, but he did laps around this pond. It's probably 2 to 3 times bigger than an Olympic pool. So, and he was having fun. He did not want to come out until I called him. And even then he was turned around on the bank and was staring at them. Like, that's enough. We're good. and the geese were like, yeah, we're good. I got the message. But again, it's fun for them. And this is when they're introduced properly. I never threw Alvin in the pool. Even though there's video of me working with him, I had to coax him in. But after about 3 or 4 days of working with him in a row, the light went off, and now he just goes crazy whenever we get a chance to get in the water. Whether it's a pond, whether it's a pool, and I have had the opportunity to dock dive competitively with him in pools and in ponds, and he jumps the same. Some dogs jump further in ponds, I guess because they can't see the bottom. Our Tennessee dog, Odin from Canton, he actually will dock dive at our facility, but he doesn't like to jump off the dock at pools that other competitions, but he'll go in ponds.
Right.
He only jumps in our pool at our shop. It's kind of weird. But the funny thing is when he's chasing geese, he's all about it. He's flying in the water after them.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of funny because they were surprised when they saw that, because normally he doesn't like to, he's not a big dock diver, but he loves chasing the geese. And unfortunately in dock diving, you're not allowed to use anything live. You have to use a toy or something that floats. You can't use any food or apparently the story was at some competition somewhere, I'm assuming this happened somewhere down south, some guy threw in a raccoon or something. Yeah, I'm just telling you what they used to say at all the things. I mean, they had the little handlers meetings that you cannot throw in anything that is either alive or once was alive. So no stuffed animals or anything. And they said this guy pulled his raccoon out of the bag, threw it in there, and his dog jumped in after it. So that's what motivates your dog, but it doesn't quite fit the rules. So, but yeah, so throwing geese in the pool at Dock Dog events probably wouldn't go over real well. That and the fact that they're federally protected. But anyway, it's a great sport to get involved in. And again, it's, if you find out your dog is a strong swimmer, there are places you can take the dog and have them evaluated and see if it's something they'd like to do. Even the city of Norfolk, I'm not sure about Virginia Beach, but the city of Norfolk each year is one of the community pools. Just before they close it down, they have the dogs get to take it over, and they invite people from all over to come in. They ask for like a small donation for one of the local shelters.
Right.
And then you can get your dog in the pool, one of the community pools, the community rec centers.
Right.
They're going to shut it down and clean it out anyway, so they let the dogs jump in, and it's for a good cause. So again, it's one of those things, if you do something like that, don't just throw your dog in. Try to, you can bring them to a daycare like ours. There are a couple of others, but there's not many. Some of the daycares just have like a little wading pool or a horse trough, and those aren't pools to us. Pools are,
they got to swim.
They have to swim. The dogs can't touch the bottom. Those are good ways to maybe introduce the dogs.
Right.
Just see if they get their feet wet, literally. But we like them to get in and be able to swim around. It's great exercise. It's great fun. The owners love seeing their dogs in the water, which is why we always post pictures. Even on the windows of the academy, we have them posted so you can see them when you come in. You can clearly see both pools when you pull in as well. And it's fun. It's fun for us. It's fun for the dogs. Everybody takes turns. I get in the pool with them some days. Dallas does. Some of the pack leaders, the guys that work there, and on the warm days, we almost kind of argue over who gets to get in. It's where it's nice to be boss. And then there's some dogs that, certain people don't want to be around because you will always get wet. We have some Tibetan Mastiffs that come stay with us. We have Newfies, which love the water. And oh my gosh, when they get out, it's just everybody around them is going to get wet. And that's just the way it is. But still, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's fun to do with your dog. For us, it carries over into our competition dock diving team. It carries over into our working dogs. And it's a lot of fun all the way around, no matter what we're doing, whether we're playing, whether we're competing, whether we're working. So if it's done right, it can pay off huge dividends, both for you and your dog, and the amount of fun you have, the things you get to do if you're competitive. But the main thing is do it safely, make sure your dog's having fun, and again, make sure your dog knows how to get in and out of any body of water, whether it's a pool or a lake or a pond. And that's the main thing. And we never leave the dogs alone when they're in the water. So, but we had a lot of fun talking about this and bringing this to you this week. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to call us 757-289-2700 at the Academy, and we're going to be getting a lot of dogs in this year. So, we're going to be right back after this break with Christine Lacoste from Pets Advisor with the Dog News of the Week. We'll be back in just a few moments.
We'll be right back with the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
Buddy, stop pulling me. What have you got in your mouth? Give me that. Buddy, come here. Buddy! No jumping. I'm sorry, are you okay? Buddy, no, I just took you out.
Does this sound like a typical day with your dog? At National K-9 Academy, we can help. We offer all breed obedience training and behavior modification. Our facility boasts 26,000 square feet fenced grass play area, a 4,500 square foot indoor with separate daycare play groups for large and small dogs, 2 saltwater pools, dock diving facilities, and state-of-the-art training equipment with multiple trainers. We offer the area's only lifetime money-back guarantee. Altogether, this could lead to more days like this with your dog.
Good boy, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
National K-9 Academy, located at 5503 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Call us at 757-289-2700 and find us on the web at nationalk9academy.com. Maverick Detection Services is the only company of its kind anywhere. We rescue, rehabilitate, and train homeless wine runners to perform as bedbug detection dogs and Canada Geese Control K-9s. We are now the nation's largest independent bedbug detection company with 17 certified teams and the region's only geese control company. Our K-9s have been featured multiple times in local news, TV, and business journals, and even on ABC World News Tonight. Check us out on Facebook at Maverick Detection Services or online at todetectandtoserve.com and you'll see why. Call us at 855-597-7827. Maverick Detection Services, right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And now back with the National K-9 Academy on K-Talk 1650.
And welcome back to National K-9 Academy here on K-Talk 1650. The show's going along swimmingly, don't you think? All right, I'll stop now. We have Christine Lacoste from petsadvisor.com joining us on the show. Now, how you doing, Christine?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Dallas has been looking over some of the news stories you have, and she's mentioned the topic of a few of them, so this should be very interesting.
I was just curious who performed surgery on this dog. I guess their dog got away and then showed up with staples.
Yeah, it's a 13-year-old dog called Roscoe. It's a golden retriever in Louisville, Kentucky. The dog normally, as a routine, just goes out during the day for about an hour, comes back home. But one day the dog didn't come back, so they were a little bit concerned and tried to find the dog. They weren't able to. About 12 hours later, the dog ended up walking up to the driveway of his home, and he had a spot on his right hip that had been shaven, and he had 10 stitches. So no one knows why, what he was treated for. He used to have a hot spot that kept flaring up in that location, but that doesn't require surgery. And they contacted local veterinarians, and everyone denied having knowledge of the dog or doing any work on him.
I think it was the local cats.
I don't know how the cat could stitch up a dog, but
that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So have they looked to see? I don't know how else to put it. Is it anything missing?
As far as I know, it looks like the dog's just taking antibiotics to prevent infection, and overall he's doing fine. It doesn't mention if he's had any kind of x-rays or if they've noticed any internal wounds or something maybe being removed.
So he just was missing for a few days and then showed back up with staples?
Actually, he was just missing for 12 hours.
12 hours?
So he left in the morning, 12 hours, came back to the house, and then had the stitches in the shaved area.
All right. Which one of the neighborhood kids got the home vet clinic for Christmas?
Well, that's the thing, is which theory is going to play out here. What's your best theory? It's either a veterinarian who's, I don't know, a vet that would lie about performing anything on a dog. Maybe it's a wannabe vet. Maybe it's neighborhood kids. Who knows?
Wow.
But he's doing okay, though.
Dog's supposed to be, it says he's doing fine and taking antibiotics.
13 years old. Wow.
Yep.
All right. Next story. A 9-year-old boy is starting an animal shelter.
This is an interesting story. Most kids about 9 years old, you think about gaming and sports. 9-year-old Ken lives in the Philippines, and he's definitely not an ordinary child. He really enjoys animals, and he would rather spend time with them than playing ball or watching movies. He's actually trying to begin an animal shelter for stray dogs. There was a photo of him feeding hungry dogs on the street, and that actually went out. It doesn't say which social media or what website it was used to distribute the photo, but they actually started accepting donations, and they came pouring in. And Ken, with his father's help, started the Happy Animals Club, and through those donations, 3 dogs got a lot of veterinary care. They have now more dog food so they can distribute, and then within 2 months, the same 3 dogs that were treated are happy and healthy. The son and the father did secure a piece of land, and they're hoping to build a no-kill shelter for dogs. Even at his young age, Ken understands and appreciates the bond between people and pets. And one of the things they quoted the boy as saying, "Nothing loves you more than a dog. That's why they're nicknamed man's best friend."
And now I see why people keep telling me I should act my age. 9-year-old. That's very cool,
It doesn't have his last name because of his age, so we don't have any more specific identifying information on him, but it's still a heartwarming story to see someone getting so involved at such a young age.
But you know what? That is so nice, cool, and refreshing when there's so many kids out there. It's all about me, you know, taking all these selfies and post them on. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm eating. Here's who I'm hanging with. That this 9-year-old, obviously acting way beyond his years, is going out there and doing something so unselfish to help, other creatures in need. So that's very cool.
Yep, definitely a good start. I think he's going to be making a big difference for animals in the Philippines.
Awesome. All right. Petco and PetSmart are banning treats from China.
This is an interesting follow-up because I think it was the beginning of 2013. We had already run some research in an article about the jerky treats that were getting pulled off the shelves. It was actually in the process for a long time. Finally, they got recalled. And then now some of the new ones, people have noticed in 2014, in the beginning of the year, they started showing back up again. Well, now Petco and PetSmart have actually agreed to just completely ban all pet treats that are made in China. If you were familiar with the jerky treat recall before, they would never admit that there was anything wrong with them, even though dogs were dying or getting extremely ill. But they did find a list of antibiotics. There's, I think, 6 different antibiotics, 5 of which are illegal in this country, and then one of which was 8 times the limit that the FDA allows. So they used that reason to do the recall. And either way, it got them off the shelves. But now Petco and PetSmart have just finally agreed to say we're not even going to stock them.
We just posted a story, first of the week, on National K-9 Academy's Facebook page, and then the follow-up about this, I think it was Wednesday. And it's good to see that the big stores are pulling them, but there are still some distributors in this area. I saw some as recently as yesterday at a big discount store, and it's one of them has a picture of a Weimaraner on it. It's like a pink colored bag with a Weimaraner on it, and you pick it up and look it over. It says "Made in China." And
right, and that's another thing about this Petco and PetSmart. They're going to agree to ban them. Keep in mind, though, they still have inventory on their stores. Mm-hmm. Don't assume that everything that you see there is safe. It's going to take them, 6 months or more to exhaust their inventory. But keep in mind, places like Walmart, even CVS has a pet section with treats. Look at the bag. Look at recall. Petsadvisor.com. We have a recall page. You can sign up for updates whenever there is a new pet food recall or you want to look through the old ones. They're all in there.
Very good. We'll post a link to that, too. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a good thing at least 2 stores are going to ban it, but you still have to be aware. Inventory's still there, and then anywhere else that you go, just read the back of the bag first.
All right. Dog has a pipe stuck over his head.
This is a strange story, and this is actually about a stray dog in South Carolina. Someone noticed the dog that was just a stray. He was running around with a pipe stuck over his head. It's kind of like a strange something to see. But a rescue group got together and tried to lure the dog with food. They couldn't get close enough to capture him. So eventually they gave up and figured they would try again later. And the next time the dog was spotted, the pipe was off of his head. So they don't know if someone took it off, if he got it off himself. But that's a good thing because when it was on, he could barely open his mouth. So he wasn't really able to eat. He wasn't getting any water.
Somebody finally called a plumber.
Yeah. And then a few days after that, animal control officers actually caught a glimpse of the dog walking around, had a stick in his mouth, playing, looks happy, and it looks okay. They're still waiting to get a rescue plan in place, and they're still trying to trap the dog so they can get him veterinary care.
Very cool.
But it was like if you look at one of those aluminum like smokestacks, it was like the top of that was cut off and it was angled, and it was just over his head and over his neck. There is a picture. If you go to petsadvisor.com, just click on Buzz, you'll find that story, and you can actually see the photo of the dog with the pipe over his head.
All right. Tell us about shelter dogs on Major League Baseball player cards.
This is a story that got me excited because the star athletes from the Texas Rangers baseball team, and that's in Dallas, they recently teamed up with the Humane Society of North Texas to create a special set of trading cards that are going to be sold online and in the stadium starting in June. The Rangers team photographer, Kelly Gavin, took photos of the players over the last month, and they were shot either with their own pets or animals that were available for adoption from the Humane Society. The shortstop Elvis Andrus, starting pitcher Yu Darvish, and Prince Fielder were among the players lending their time to the worthy cause. The trading set's going to be called Dogs Safe at Home. It's going to feature full information on the dog picture as well as pet care tips from the Humane Society. And Rangers spokesman John Blick told the Star-Telegram, of all the things we do with the players, this was the easiest, baseball players and dogs. So many of our players have dogs. It was an easy sell, even to the ones who don't have dogs. The cards are going to retail for $15 a set, and the proceeds are going to the Texas shelter. And I'm actually going to a Rangers game in Dallas in September. I hope those cards are still there, or I might have to buy them online first.
That's what I was going to ask. Are they only available there in Texas at the stadium?
It says online. I don't have a link for that yet. I'm going to see if I can find it, but it'll go on sale in June. And if I can buy them online, I'll probably get them. But hopefully I can still snag a set when I'm there when they play the Oakland A's in September.
That's very cool. That's a great idea. I'd like to. I may order some as well.
I'll see as soon as I can find that link or they get it up and working. I'll send it to you.
Very cool. I like that. All right. Well,
and that's the news for last week.
That's the news from last week. Well, I do have one little update you may have heard about. It's obviously Tara the cat and her miraculous save of one of her owner's sons. Do you know that she's been honored now and that she got to throw out a first pitch at I think it was either a AA or AAA affiliate in Bakersfield, California.
This is the cat last week, the story where the cat stopped the dog attack from the little boy.
Right. It was the first pitch was a disaster. I don't know whose idea it was to have this little baseball on a string and the guy. It's funny. The guy actually swings the cat, so the cat paw hit the ball. The ball's supposed to travel down this line. I don't know why they just didn't have the guy hold the cat and throw it out, but that was a disaster. So then they had the cat drop the first puck at like an IHL hockey game. Mm-hmm. That went a little better. The little boy actually got to drop the puck, and then he had his own little hockey stick and got involved. But it was still cool. They're having some fun with it. Apparently, she has her own Facebook page. This is where it gets a little weird. The family has trademarked her name, so now it's this went from a really good thing to where they're trying to cash in on it a little bit.
It depends. You've seen some other cases like that, and they take advantage of, I would say take advantage, but maybe embrace the publicity. And some people do really good things with them. If you remember Lily, who is now called Lily the Hero Pit Bull, who saved her owner from a train. And now they do a lot of charity work. They do donations. They're always going to walks around Boston and events, raising awareness.
Well, hopefully that's where this will end up.
A good thing.
I hope that's where this ends up because she has her own clothing line now. Yeah, I know.
Oh my!
It was on the cable news last night, and we were looking at. They had a little panel discussion, and they were talking about the same thing. Let's hope this goes in the right direction. But yeah.
So the clothing line, is that T-shirts that they sell as fundraisers, or is that clothes for the cat?
That's what I don't know. They're T-shirts for people and clothes. They have hats and tank tops and T-shirts and sweatpants. So we'll have to do an update on that sometime in the next week or so and make sure hopefully that's going to some sort of charitable fund for homeless cats or something. But
yeah, I've seen some other organizations that do the T-shirts and the shirts, the hats. It helps raise awareness. They actually, make some profit off of it, and that goes back into the charity.
Right, exactly. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate you bringing us the PetsAdvisor.com Dog News of the Week. We will look forward to having you back on next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of National K-9 Academy here on K-Talk 1650, the nation's only weekly live hour-long show that is all about the dogs. We will see you guys next week.
K-Talk 1650, your source for great talk radio and news in southeastern Virginia, is AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth.